We got some updates on Godzilla Minus One, the Speak No Evil remake, and Scream 7. Let's get into all of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second page. Appreciate you for stopping by for some horror news. Let's talk a little bit about some of the craziest headlines from this past week or so. Godzilla Minus One has just grabbed an Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the biggest update from this entire video because horror movies don't oftentimes get Oscar nominations. I'm actually kind of shocked that the Oscars would recognize a good horror movie, which they rarely do. We've had a lot of those in the past like 10 years or so, and Get Out's like the only one really that got some kind of nomination, which I'm happy about, but there's more on top of that that should have gotten at least a nomination. Godzilla Minus One is getting nominated for Best Visual Effects, thank God, but it also should have gotten the Best Picture nom. I hate to sound greedy though. You know, I hate to sound greedy, but it deserved at least that as well as Best Visual Effects. So I'm happy that at least it's getting nominated for something. It better win in that category because it's competing against The Creator, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Society of the Snow, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If any of those other things win, frankly, they're wrong. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I saw most of these and they look good. They do. But Godzilla Minus One, the work, the effort that went into this movie for the past, like, what was it, 3 years, 2 or 3 years that they were working on visual effects, it would be criminal for this movie not to win. But then again, the Oscars absolutely sucked and are probably rigged anyways. So why do I care? Great question. If you have not seen this movie yet, it is re-releasing on January 26th in black and white. Please see this movie. I know some people are like, oh, you know, it's in a different language. I don't want to read subtitles. I don't want to read a movie. Read it. I promise you it's going to be so worth it. I cried. I tears streaming down my face through the back half of this movie. I swear to God, it's one of the most emotional, well-written movies of maybe the last 10 years or so. It's so good. Like, watch international horror. It's so good. It's so good. So good. Oh, it hurts. It pains me a little bit that some people were skipping this one just because it's in a different language. We're getting a brand new Jurassic World movie from the writer of The Lost World. This is a really interesting development here. Bloody Disgusting reported this yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. Now, David wrote The Lost World, like I said, but he also wrote Carlito's Way, Mission Impossible, the first one, Stir of Echoes, and War of the Worlds. A lot of good movies in there. I actually love War of the Worlds from Steven Spielberg, as well as The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. I like both of these. I will say the writing in both movies, there's always like one instance of something that's a little weird though, which is why I guess I'm not like, I don't know, doing jumpin' jacks right now because David is writing this one. What I will say though, is that I appreciate The Lost World a lot more these days because of the Jurassic World movies that showed me, oh, this can get a lot worse, buddy. I don't even think Lost World is that bad. It's definitely my least favorite of the original three because, you know, Jurassic Park 3 is a cinematic masterpiece. A velociraptor reminding us of the main character's name is a very important scene, ladies and gentlemen. Very important. But I do like The Lost World. It is a lot of fun. I still, like I said, I appreciate this movie much more nowadays than I did back in the past because I think it's so much fun. It's way better than the last two Jurassic World movies. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where they go with this. The other thing, too, that'll be exciting for some people is they're not focusing on the same characters from the last 3 Jurassic World movies. That to me is the biggest problem with these new movies. They're just not, the characters aren't there. I'm not crazy about Chris Pratt giving absolutely no emotion in a lot of his line deliveries. I will say Bryce Dallas Howard, not bad. You know, she has some interesting stuff in that first movie, but they kind of fuck it up with her character arc, which is kind of nonsensical. I don't know. It makes no sense the way they jump around with her character. Like she's this stiff, cold, I work, I do my thing. And then she's like an activist for dinosaurs in like the next movie. What? I don't know. Just too much jumping around with that character, but I do love Bryce Dallas Howard. Excellent actress. I don't know if I can say the same about Chris Pratt, but I'm excited for this movie. It's potentially going to have a 2025 release date, but nothing's like 100%. The script is done though. They've been silently working on it for a little while now, and it'll most likely release in 2025. I'm excited for it. I hope that it's just a whole new story, new director, new creatives, new characters, hard resets. Please, God. I like the first Jurassic World, but wow, it lost its way fast in that second movie. So I'm really hoping they're able to fix it here in this installment. I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about how Scream may take a new nightmare approach with its next installment, but it's been confirmed just a couple of days ago that Anaconda may be coming back and doing that same approach, where it takes like real life actors who are going to film an Anaconda movie and then they actually get attacked by an anaconda, the threat from the movie. It's the new nightmare approach, which was established in Wes Craven's New Nightmare from 1994, where he essentially took his cast from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, taking a fictionalized version of the actress and actor who played both Nancy and Freddy. I don't know why that name was so hard for me to say. Nancy and Freddy in the original. Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, they came back, they played real-life versions of themselves, getting attacked by a real-life Freddy Krueger. Ooh. They're apparently doing that here with Anaconda. Jeff Snyder reports that Tom Gormican, who did The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, that silly little movie with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, I really enjoyed it. Very fun. He's apparently scripting it and potentially directing the next Anaconda movie, which is hopefully going to take a fresh approach. As you guys may or may not know, there is like a bunch of Anaconda sequels that are bad, and a spin-off crossover film that, interestingly enough, has Robert Englund in it, called, it's like Anaconda versus Lake Placid or something like that. It's just as good as it sounds. It's going to be very meta. It's going to take that new nightmare approach. I'm kind of hyped for this. Jeff Schneider, I keep wanting to say Schneider, like I'm in South Park or something, but Jeff Snyder also reports that they're going to do this new nightmare approach. It's going to be very meta, which I think is interesting. You know, Anaconda is a big 90s horror flick, comes out in the wake of Scream 2, trying to be more of a monster movie more than anything. But it definitely has some Scream-isms in it, even if it is just the same plot of Creature from the Black Lagoon, but with a giant snake. Don't worry about that. I would love to see Nicolas Cage in this movie, too, if Tom Gormican is still going to write and direct it. I think that would be so fun. That would be so cool to see Nicolas Cage go out into the jungle and fight a giant snake. I'm here for it. I'm here for it all day. Totally down for that. But what do you guys think about this? Are you hyped for another Anaconda movie? Let's hope this one is good. The Speak No Evil remake from Blumhouse is moving into September from its August 9th release date. It's now going to release on September 13th, but I think there's a bigger conversation to be had about this one. I'm not going to stop bitching about it until it comes out, pretty much. Blumhouse is remaking this Danish horror movie that came out in 2022. It was really good. It does not need a remake. I don't know why they're remaking it. Oh, I know why. It's because people don't want to read movies. Read movies! You thought I was done with this rant? Oh no! I don't know, maybe it'll be good. It's coming from James Watkins, who did The Woman in Black and Eden Lake, both very good movies, not gonna lie. Mackenzie Davis, good actress, just in some bad movies like Terminator Dark Fate, and James McAvoy, another guy who's in some bad movies, but a very good actor. Maybe this will be good, whatever, but what I recommend is you watch that 2022 original flick. It was one of my favorites from 2022, really blew my mind. And honestly, what I'm expecting next from Blumhouse is they're going to remake When Evil Lurks, because that was a huge movie in 2023. That was also international, not English speaking. That's just not a good enough reason to remake a movie, just to put it in English. Like, that sucks, man. And then, put bigger actors and actresses in it. Like, I don't know, dude. The thing that I'm probably going to be the most pissed about is it's probably going to be a 1-to-1 remake. The exact same shit's going to happen. I think that's going to suck. I mean, the only good silver lining I can see from this is that maybe more people will go and check out the original film because of this remake that'll have much more attention to it and will be put in theaters. You know, Blumhouse is going to have a whole marketing campaign before this fall, I'm sure. Probably starting in like July to be like, hey, check this remake out so we make some money. I don't know, dude. Watch the original movie if you haven't seen it. It's great. If you liked When Evil Lurks, if you saw that, gotta watch Speak No Evil. Just, I think the same level of brutality in both of those movies. And a lot of y'all were bugging me to talk about this little update, which is not an update, but let's talk about it anyways. Scream Trilogy has posted on their page this very interesting shot of Fun World, this Fun World display that says Ghostface returns in Scream 7 2025. But interestingly enough, he didn't include this, or whoever is behind this account didn't decide to include this in the first tweet, but underneath there it says, the display was made months ago when there was actual movement on Scream 7, so we'll see. Man, I'm so, this is why I'm changing my content on my page. I'm sick of just throwing this up on screen and being like, this is nothing, please stop freaking out. Please stop sending me messages, this is not an update, this is a display from before everyone got fired from Scream 7. 7. If you take 2 seconds to look past the picture, the initial post, you can just see it's a bunch of BS. It's just this guy wanted to post this because it's cool. I don't know. There's no update here. It's just Fun World trying to say, hey, you know, buy a Scream mask because we got another movie in the works. But is it still in the works? I don't know. Scream 7 is still in peril until we get something official. But keep looking for things that are official and not just from random accounts on Twitter. I promise you that will make your life a lot easier and a lot happier. There's no update for Scream 7 here. What do you guys think about the real updates in this video, though? Leave me something about it in the comments below.